Okay, this is a Kenmore 1802 that I just got and finally got a chance to work on. The zigzag mechanism, if you're having problems with zigzag stitches and cam's not stitched, it's not stitching. See this little oil hole over right down there that I'm trying to point to with my screwdriver? That is a little tiny oil hole right there, little oil well. And that whole solid bar with the oil well on top has a solid bar inside it that whole piece needs to move around. Watch this. Basically, see how this part here pivots? This has to be able to pivot, and it's on the solid bar that is down in that little oil hole. And so this cannot pivot to sew those zigzag stitches. You'll need to make sure you've got oil in here. And that it's freed up in here. This whole thing has to be able to pivot with that needle bar. I did break my cardinal rule and use some WD-40 to help free that one up because it was so there and down in there were so gummed up. I used those and heat plus Tri-Flow. And then I let it set after I'd worked it quite a bit to try and get it freed up as much as possible. And after leaving it for a couple hours, I came back and now the machine actually will zigzag. And before that, it could not zigzag it, even though I'd freed up the entire zigzag mechanism over here. This was all freed up, but the stuff over here was not. So this is the 1802. You got any problems with your cam stitches? And by the way, your cam dial, it can turn as far as the buttonhole, but then you have to turn it clockwise. Sorry, I did that quite wrong. It goes to cam and then to the buttonhole, then blind hem, straight stitch, bending hip stitch, and smocking stitch. But if you do not, you cannot turn it further past the smocking stitch. You have to go back the other direction, and the same thing with cam. When you get to cam, when you're trying to free up this bar, which if this is stuck on cam, you probably have this bar down in here stuck and frozen, okay? So getting that freed up as part of your zigzag mechanism in an 1802 is essential to being able to even turn this dial and have it work. So something to remember, don't turn it past its limits. The limits are cam, and it stops at cam, and then you have to go clockwise to get to smocking. So counterclockwise to get to cam, clockwise to get to smocking. That is how that works on this 1802. Okay.